So right now we're back. I just went over US 30 real quick with the group, and now I'm about to go over gold, XAUUSD, just to see what the market can look like overall when it comes to XAUUSD. It's pretty interesting. So just stay tuned. So with that being said, we're just gonna do the same thing we did with US 30. And like I said, guys, if you ain't paying attention, we have a Forex fracture where it gives us the fundamentals of what can potentially happen this week. And as we know, on Friday, we have non-farm payroll that's going to be going out that just goes over different things that doesn't have to do with farm in the United States, be it employment, jobs, and things of that nature. So be on the lookout. It's going to be a really massive week, and there's a lot of news that's going to affect the market movement this week. So now moving on to the market, as you can see for XAUUSD, it's a pretty interesting pair, and the reason why I say that is because, as you can see right here, it's too noisy, it's too choppy, right? But if I'm just gonna just go what I see, because remember, you only want to go what you see and not what you want, the market to do. Okay. Right here we have a supply zone. Right, we have a supply zone that wasn't supply, but now turned to demand and it pushed up even higher. And then over here, I would say we have another zone, right? And that's another zone right there. And this is all on the monthly time frame, guys. So this is not even on the week. This is not a weekly or daily. I'm just going over overall what exactly we can be seeing for the next few weeks to months. Okay. And then on top of that, as you can see, right, which is a previous now. Now over here is the pretty interesting place because now this is a resistance area. This is a supply zone that's been supplying. This has been resistant since 2020, 2022, and now in 2023, and it's still rejecting from that same area. So guys, right now, when it comes to XAUUSD, it's a pretty dicey area, but who knows, right? It can just potentially just pull into this zone right here and just continue moving bullish. You never know, because right now, structure-wise, as you can see, if you want to use wick to wick, right? So we have this high, we have this low, we have this high, except that it's a high if you're looking at it from a wick, but it's a higher high if you're looking at it from a body's perspective. And we have a higher low. And when you have a higher low in the market, that just means the bullish run is about to take off. So right now we had a higher low, and now you give us a new what? Higher high. So if that's the case, well, I have a high right here, I have a higher low right here, and I have a higher high right here. And if I'm looking for a continuation, I'm looking for price to retrace into this higher. And as long as it doesn't break below this higher low, we could be looking for a continuation towards the bullish side. So I'm just going to put the horizontal array right there. Okay, so now let's go weekly. Right. So on the weekly time frame, guys, we see the market is on, like I said, it's just doing this thing. And I'm just gonna delete this real quick. But basically you get where we are right now in the market. So right now on the weekly time frame, we have boom. All right, cool. So on the weekly time frame now, we're looking at price at the place where we just left off, right? Remember, from the higher time frame, what do we have? We had the low, we had the higher high, we had the high, higher low, and higher high, right? If you remember from the weekly time frame, what we just went over right there, we have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, and we have a higher high. Okay, cool. So now let's go over to the weekly time frame. So right now in the weekly time frame, we're looking for price to come and see what it's gonna do, either within from this zone. Right, we're looking for what it's going to do within this zone right here. So from this zone right here, this high to this low, we want to make sure that as long as price does not go anywhere below this price level, we should look for anywhere that the gold should look for continuation towards the upside. As long as it doesn't break below this zone, okay? As long as price does not break below this zone, we should be looking for price to continue. What does that mean? In the market, we have this thing called higher lows and higher highs, right? So the only way we can know if it's a continuation is as long as price does not break below the previous zone, because the previous low, we can always look for a continuation. But once price breaks below this previous zone, we're looking for now for price to, let's say, for example, it does this and then breaks below this, and then it does something like this. Now we're looking for price to continue going bearish, right? So as long as price does not break this area, and also as long as it respects its trend line, right? As long as it respects its trend line as well, that's another way we can know like price is on its continuation to the bullish side. But once it breaks this zone and comes lower than this zone right here, this area, or even this area, we're looking for price to either retrace within the next upcoming zone for it to continue going bearish. That's what we're looking for. Okay. And if it doesn't give us that and doesn't break below this area, we should look for price to continue going bullish. Okay. So fast forward now. Actually, I'm just going to leave that out there. So fast forward now, we can see that on this price zone, if you look at it from a weekly standpoint, it's kind of playing out. Is playing this out. And this is just from a short-term perspective, guys. Remember, overall, the market is always bullish, guys. I'm going to say this all the time. The market is always bullish, always, because the goal is to go up. The goal is to appreciate. But sometimes it has to depreciate for a little bit for it to continue going bullish, right? So right now on the weekly time point, we see, right? Remember, this is the monthly, but let's draw the weekly now. Let's draw the weekly. So let's say we're going to start from, this price level. Boom. High, low, higher high, higher low, higher high. But guess what now? It's giving us a higher low. It's giving us now a new low, a lower low. It's giving us a lower low that's lower than this low. So what does that look like? Well, are you trying to tell me that within the next upcoming days of this week, because last week it closed bearish, right? So if I was to go to the daily standpoint, are you telling me that it has a potential now for price to either pull to this price, to this zone, to see if I can continue going bearish temporarily, because remember, like I said, price is always going to be bullish overall, but the objective is to at least, catch it where you catch it. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, if price looks like, okay, well, I know overall it's bullish, and I know that anything that it does within this zone right here, until price gets to this zone, I can at least potentially see if I can ride the wave with it for a bearish before it goes on, before it gives me that continuation it will potentially do if it was to continue going bullish, right? So I just want to see what price will do within the next upcoming days. If it was going to retrace some more up onto the zone, up onto the supply zone, right? And obviously, when it gets to the supply zone, it's going to do one or two things. It's either going to distribute or accumulate. And accumulate meaning it's going to accumulate to continue going bullish, or it's going to distribute to continue bearish, partially continue going bearish for just a little bit, or just a short-term basis before it goes continue going bearish. So just be on the lookout for XAUUSD within the price levels. Let's just say I want to see within the price levels of let's see what it does within these two price levels, right? Let's see what it does within this price levels, right? Let's say if it was to retrace back up to 1957, let's see what it does to get between 1957 and 2022. 2022, you get what I mean by the value of gold right now. Not right now. Right now is at 1941, but let's see what it does within this zone, especially if it was to get to this monthly zone that we draw on the monthly time frame, to see what it does for the week upcoming when it comes to gold. Pretty short and simple, guys. Like I said, this is overall movements. Let's just see what it can do and what it cannot do, and just stay tuned for what's to come. Any questions, please feel free to drop them. This is the overall view for XAUUSD. I'm not a financial advisor. I just come in for educational purposes and entertainment purposes. But I definitely have access to a course that you can definitely leverage. That I can go step by step in details all the way down to lower time frames to see what can potentially happen within this markets and really teach you that strategy that you're looking for to be profitable. Thank you so much, guys. And I'll see you guys on the next video going over Doge. Let's get it.